So we stopped midway, and this Vietnamese girl comes over. Now, you remind you, I'm new in country now. So the Vietnamese comes over, jumps on the door uh, by his door rail there, and gives him a hug and a kiss. And I'm looking at this, and I'm saying, "Wow, I wasn't used to this." So I just got married, and made me miss my wife even more. But anyway, after they said goodbye, and she stood there waving, we're continuing on our little detail.
And this is in Vietnam.
This is in Vietnam, yeah, right. So now we're coming closer to the dump where he's going to dump the garbage, the food, whatever was left over. And I noticed kids were around because the kids were gathering. And I remember when I was working in the Bronx, I would drive the truck, had to dump to the dump, and there were seagulls there.
Right.
And the seagulls would dive into the food when you dumped it. So I'm watching, I'm in the truck, and we're backing up, and now I see the kids gathering, right? And he goes to the top of the ledge, and he picks up the dump truck, and he dumps all the garbage out. And all of a sudden, I said, all these kids dove into this garbage like they were just served a steak dinner, all of them, knee deep in garbage, trying to find food to bring home to their families, because they were hungry. They couldn't get no food anywhere. And I always told my kids, man, I said, you don't know how lucky you got. Just appreciate everything you got in this country, because these poor kids would do, and forget about a toy. They don't even have a ball to play with. You know what I mean? And one thing I know is to get to the medical thing is I've noticed most of these kids, these Vietnamese children, had a lot of looked like impetigo all over their body, from lack of nourishment. So, it's just incredible. Something like that, it stays with you for the rest of your life. You don't forget that, how it impresses you of how fortunate our kids here, but they don't know it. That's why I like to state in the book all these little things that people don't realize how lucky they are to be in this country. You know what I mean? And that's one of the aspects that I'll never forget. It stayed with me always.
I know, isn't it something how spoiled our kids are, how blessed they are. And when we hear the stories, and listen, but we do know this, 14 million kids a day go hungry in the United States of America.
Right.
How that's possible, I don't understand.
Me either.
When they tell us on these shows on television to give food, my nephew, this weekend coming up, as we get ready for Thanksgiving, he's up at Connect Church. For anybody listening in Long Island, in Belmore, if you're hungry, there's an opportunity to give you an opportunity. If you're a hungry or struggling family, you can go to Connect Church in Belmore. Just look it up. The pastor's name is John Gravagna. I know, another Italian. We're a little partial. Everybody on the show is mainly Italian. No, just kidding. But when it comes to food, Italians are very big on food. Eating is really important. Having food on the table. My mother always said, even if we got to have rice and beans because we're Puerto Rican, or pasta vazul, okay? As long as we have that and a roof over our head, we're okay. And growing up that way and knowing that, like Johnny says, he was out of country or in country, another country, where they were diving in the garbage to eat and bring it and share it with their family. Over here, we got kids complaining of what grade of cell phone they got that costs $1,000. They're complaining about that when even here in this country, 14 million children go hungry every day. That's a very sad and very big number. And we watch these controversies that they talk about. And this is why, we have to have lawful, fair election process so that we can have a government that works for the people as we were founded. They work for us, we don't work for them. You'll always hear me say that here. If I would have been fortunate enough to serve as congressman, maybe next term, but I wouldn't be there playing games. I'd be there trying to solve the 14 million children that go hungry, our better health care, how we need it. We don't want to watch soldiers, 17 of them that used to be 21 a day. We don't want to see them kill themselves. That's just soldiers. There are police officers that the strains of the work, they take their own lives too. That's my dog. Pay no attention to the dog making sounds. That police officers, like veterans, because of the strange. Imagine a police officer, a young cop, right? My nephew's a young cop in New York City, works in the worst precinct in the city. When I say worst, I mean where the highest crime. But today in New York, because the governor's not doing his job or the mayor, people are at risk. Crime is up, murders are up. And Wind Talkers is telling you, I'm Johnny, this is Johnny Fratangelo, Johnny Pizza. I'm Darren Aquino with Code Wind Talkers coming to you live, brought to you on Triple Vibes Radio, sponsored and supported with Code Media Group, um, to bring you the truth, to bring it to you now, to bring it to you real, to bring it to you right. That's what we're doing here today, sharing the stories about America. We had an opportunity, but Mike, Dr. Mike, you're going to get to hear from Dr. Mike. You're going to hear amazing stories, his amazing things, and Johnny's going to finish talking about that. But my job here too also is to keep doing intros in between to tell you what's going on. And that's my dog. He likes to let you know too. That's Brutus. He likes to share too. He likes to put a little commentary in there. So we're gonna go back to Johnny in the jungle. As you can see, he's really a good. He likes to bring in some improv. He wants to go right to the jungle, as you can see it around him. So that's what we're talking about. The hunger in this country. Tell us more about those stories there in Vietnam.
Well, I can tell you another one about we had to guard a mountain art village.
Let me ask you one question. Is it true that kids like come up to you and like they grab you and you give them candy and stuff like that? And like you took a liking, like you had special kids that knew each like that? That was true, right?
Oh yeah, they're always coming up to you, holding their hands out, give them candy, whatever. But yeah, they were cute, and the little their siblings, like the girls and even the little boys, sometimes they'll carry their sibling on their hip. And you're talking about 8, 9, 10-year-old little girls carrying their little babies on, little baby sisters on or brothers on their hip all day long, And but we had to guard a mountain art village one day. These mountain arts are like darker Vietnamese. Okay, they're like natives. They dressed like natives. The women were bare-breasted. They only had their fronts and backs covered a little bit, and the men just wore a little patch like Tarzan, that kind of thing. And they were like almost like headhunters,
Really?
They would chop a VC up like it was nothing, they would use machetes. So anyway, we had a detail to guard this mountain art village, and because it was a laterite pit, which is red clay and some high and middle. Anyway, we had the gun jeep. We were on the gun jeep, and on our recon platoon. We stayed there. The first night it was raining all night long, and we were sitting in the jeep with me, the gunner, and then my TC operator, John DeLage, who into his documentary, and this guy Sergeant Nizak, who was the driver. So we're sitting in the jeep all night long, getting rained on. And the morning came, and the sun finally came out. It was couldn't wait for the sun to come out just to get dried up and warm. And Papa San comes over now, right? He's a leader of the village. Now we're watching the people as they get up in the morning. There's a few come here, they're coming out of their hooches, and the little kids, and they got a pond. They got like a pond there, and the women would come with like a little small barrel, whatever, and they would go to the river, the pond, and fill it with water, and they take that water back and they use that water to cook, and they're washing their kids in there too, okay? And they use the same water to cook. So Papa San comes over to us, and I'm sitting there, and we were curious how they built their little hut hooches, right? So he was selling us Coca-Cola, okay?
Coca-Cola,
50 cents a can.
And how old are you at this time?
19. So to back up a minute, okay, when we first woke up, Elijah and Nizak, they both went for a little stroll around the village, but I sat behind with the machine gun, right? So this kid comes up, and I'm leaning. I got my feet stretched out, and there's mud, naturally there's red mud all over it. It's raining all night. And he comes up with a stick, and he starts cleaning my boots. Right? So I reached down and said, "No, don't do it." So no. So he said he wanted to do it. So he spoke a little English, believe it or not. So he said, "No, to do it." So I said, "What's your name?" He said, "Tan." And I said, "I'm John," right? So he kept on cleaning my boots, and I give him candy. Right? Now he had a shirt on, shorts, no shoes. Nice little kid. And he started teaching me Vietnamese. Okay. And trading the words. Well, this meant this meal meant brain, whatever. So anyway, then the guys finally come back, and Papa's on. We wanted to build a hoop. So for $2.50. Now you got it. It's unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. He goes in, he gets two of his men, and they go right behind us was a 12 jungle weed and bamboo, right? So the two of them went in there with their machetes, and they come out about maybe 15 minutes later. One guy's got a whole load of bamboo on his shoulder. The other guy's got a whole bunch of jungle leaves on his shoulder. So one guy is taking a machete, and he's pointing up the bamboo, right? He does four of them. And then he cuts two shorter than the other one, okay? And then the guy's standing there with the bamboo that's pointed up sharp, right? And he's going like this, up and down, into the floor, into the ground, right? And each time he hits the ground, it goes into the same hole and gets deeper and deeper and deeper, right? It's almost like us digging a footing, So he puts the thing and then he wraps dirt around it. So the same thing with all four of them. Two in the front, the little shorter ones, and two in the back with the longer ones. Right? And then while he was doing that, the other guy is taking his machete and scraping the bamboo thin. Like this thing was razor sharp. It's unbelievable. He's scraping it thin, okay? And like threads. So then what they do, one guy holds one pole and like puts the other one like that, okay? And he takes this bamboo threads and he takes it with his fingers, wraps around, and goes like this, he curls it around, and it holds it in place, right? He does that for all four, and he did the same thing for the top. And then what they do is they cut a whole bunch of bamboos and lay them across, do the same thing, they tie them together. And same with the roof. And then they got the leaves, the elephant leaves, and they place them starting from the front up to the back, like we do our roofs, Same, and then they put it on the floor. And they did this in about, I'd probably say maybe half hour, 45 minutes. So we gave them Papa San the $250 piastres, which is $2.50. Okay. And he's selling us Coca-Cola. All right. this native chief is selling us Coca-Cola. Right? So that was another memory to watch this. It was something,
Where he got Coca-Cola
like
from?
we stepped back in time. Oh, where did he get it from? I don't know. When he had it was cold though. It was ice cold, You
gotta wonder. Some people are so resourceful, but you know what I mean. These are American products.
Yeah.
And even when we go abroad, people adapt to our way. Yeah. Quickly, he was selling you what we sell in America. Is one of the back in the day, it was the number one soft drink. Nobody could beat Coke, Pepsi, RC Cola. So they came out with all of them. Wink. They made sodas that Mountain Dew. I remember when Mountain Dew came out. But here, you're going over in Vietnam, they got our product. How did corporate America get it there? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Think about that for a second. Yeah. They could get Coca-Cola there, but we can't feed 14 million kids here.
Exactly, right.
Okay, so that's, you hit on a good area. And we can't feed 14 million kids, but they could sell it, and that's one of the things the president was challenged. Think about, China owns more of the country than we do. How did that happen? Yeah. How did the republic get sold off? Yeah, and right. They did it behind our back. This is our republic. This is ours.
I always used to say, because when I go visit relatives and they live in a different state, and you pass by all these rundown sheds and people were living in them, and I used to always say, even as a young kid, I used to say to myself, but how come we're sending money overseas to help people overseas, and our own children right here are living in mud and dirt and don't have food? I could never understand that. I really couldn't understand it.
And that's another thing. Look at this. I started ADA in 1983. Other people copied that to profiteer and make themselves a money pit organization. I do want to say that this is holiday time. While I'm here, I got the Minute Hive, Johnny Pizza, Darren, the Cricket. We're here at Code Wind Talkers through Triple Vibes Radio, sharing our thoughts. We had a scheduled doctor to come on today. He's going to come next week, but it is Thanksgiving month. It is Veterans Month. And advocates for disabled Americans, veterans, police, firemen, and families is a national civil rights policing organization, the first and only one of its kind, where we actually go out and police the rights. Um, if that worked out the way we designed a special force for that to bring over 50 million jobs to America, we're still working on the deal to make that happen and sit with the president to talk about this because I have all the rights to it. However, the organization prides itself on doing yearly fundraisers. It's funded by its members. All of us are disabled or have a disability. We're a very unique organization. We're one of a kind. I didn't form it to raise money. I formed it to raise awareness. And it was genuine. And like I said, as you can see behind me, these many, and this is just one, two, three walls here. I got them from the Pope to the president. Um, my mission is not to get the plaque, but to solve the problem. And the problem is discrimination. And it comes in and it has many shapes and faces and forms. And it's a horrible, it's an ugly face. We know it that we have BLM, Black Lives Matters. Everybody matters. Bottom line, everybody matters. We all care. We all count. We all live and breathe. We all have to respect each other. But what this organization does, because they always slight people who've been overcome by a disability. Veteran groups that come out like Wounded Warriors, we've seen that they were started out as a great organization, and we heard they were having parties in Florida with the donations that you were giving. See, I have quality control. That could never happen. When you get something that you got to take a better hold of it. That $19 a month that you give, are we taking care of that veteran who lost his arms, his legs? We don't have a problem with taking care, but we have to have oversight on those that say they are and are not. But we'd like to remind everybody, please go and think about it. You could donate a toy, or you could donate the money to buy a toy. We're going to try and take care of the kids here and in New York, and we do it around the country, and the money comes, and we have advocates in a couple of states. We had more. We lost some since the COVID. Nobody gets paid here. We don't do this for a paycheck. We do this as our patriotism. Like Johnny's a patriot. This is my way of serving men like Johnny who serve this country. I get to help them from the wounds and injuries they get in war. I get to do my part for them because I'm grateful for them. That's why, again, the last goodbye. The last goodbye. Remember, you never know when it's going to be a last goodbye. So always be good to your family. Be good to people. This show talks about truth. It's the right side of the fence. We don't take political sides, in case anybody's wondering. We have our own preferences. We have freedoms here. But we shouldn't take those freedoms for granted because the challenge that we face is all around us. Just look around. Look around. You got this group fighting about this. You got people being attacked on the street for no reason. There's nothing right about that. And nobody here or anybody else is going to tell you that's right. And that's part of some movement. That's a movement to take away somebody's freedom to beat up an innocent person walking down the street, just walking, a stranger, a person. I watched an 80-year-old man on the television, on the news, get slugged by a young kid. What do you call that? I call that a crime. That's assault. That's jail. And that's elder abuse. It comes with a greater punishment, and it should. We don't do that. So you see, we're looking to try and take care of people and organizations, okay? We need to get ourselves together. We need to get on page with each other and stand behind each other and clean out every office that doesn't serve the people they're supposed to. And that's all of us, not some of us. I always prided myself on the organization for doing that. So this holiday season, think about it. COVID, people lost their jobs. So my nephew's got the church. He gives out feeding families. Go to connectchurch.com. You can go there. John Gravagna, tell him your uncle Darren sent you. If you're a family in need, please go to Connect Church. This is an informative radio show. We're the Wind Talkers. And we're here to help inform you, guide you, and help you in any way we can. So we're going to have a great show next week. I don't know. We're pressed for time. I don't know how much time we have left, maybe 8 minutes, because we got started late. Me and Johnny were talking. I'm going to let Johnny close the show today. But I want to just put in those little promos because, if you can go to www.ada and think about a family, or you may be that family. That's why I gave you that. And you can go to Connect Church if you're in New York. I'm just setting up roots here. Dr. Mike is coming to Florida so that we can set a veteran base here because we have 1,000 homeless veterans, and we had a whole bunch of people campaigning. And the one thing about my campaign, I was the only one talking about getting housing for the veterans. I do have a plan to house our veterans, and I will. But you see, if I'm not in leadership, I can't get it done. So maybe in 2022, I'll get it done. I have something talking. Stop it. Hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on, Donnie. Start talking.
I lost you.
Okay, so hi, I'm back. We just had a little ruckus because we had a bee issue here. Imagine, I had bees swarming the outside door. So you're getting this live, folks. There was bees.
Hey, let me tell you something. While you're on bees, this is very important for people out there listening. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know this. If you ever get bitten by a bee, okay, put a raw onion on it. It'll take it away instantly. Okay.
Is that right?
Take away the sting. It'll take away the swollen instantly.
Really? See, we even got remedies here, folks. You gotta love this wind talking. A friend of mine, another friend of mine, said you cut up the red onion, the big onion, put it in one side of the room, another one the other side. It also takes things out of the air.
Good. It's good to know.
It's an Italian thing. My friend, actually, assistant chief, my assistant national chief, Frank Spatorno, he said to me, no, take a red onion, the big ones, cut them in half and leave them in the room and leave them open. It takes some kind of germ and stuff out of the air. Maybe we should start selling onions. I don't know. But it's better than medicine. So, yeah, we had a little, see, life goes on for everybody. We had a little bee swarm. This is what I'm saying. 1 bee, 2 bee. The door's closed. You know those little rubber guards underneath your door? So up here, when you open the door here in Florida, it's very, like, outside they call the balcony my lanai. It's a balcony. What lanai? It's a balcony. It's a balcony. It's I was calling it a fire escape. It's a balcony. So, my uncle's sitting out there. He's getting his son. He's doing good. But over here, it's like, there's a stairs. Like, I'm in an alcove. So when I go out, step out the door, there's like a big opening because you can see every level. It's got like a opening. Every level you go down, you can see outside. So the trees and palm and whatever, we had a little wind here today. So the wind I'm on the 4th floor. It's only 4 floors. The bees, like, they was outside, but they were cleaning the building because they haven't done it for a little bit because they were changing. So they were with the guns, with the water, the power steaming, cleaning.
Power wash.
Yeah. So obviously they made that thing under the door get like maybe from the power wash. So I'm sitting and as I'm getting ready, when I was talking, I'm saying, what's that? Bee. Then before I know it, there's 5 of them in here. And I had to kill them. You know what I mean? Because they're driving, they're like yellow jackets, But I was looking at them. And then I opened the door and I see them like this. I closed the door. You don't want them in here. They'll sting the dog, So we called the guy, and that's what the dog started barking for, because he came to say, yeah, you got an issue? And the issue is you got to replace that rubber, because while I'm laying down, they'll come in the night like this. 5, 6 came in, then 10 of them were here, and then I started killing them. For some reason, the wind, we had a wind here, I guess carried over from that storm, and it was windy, and they were like, I don't know, they were like stupid bees. They were flying like they was drunk. And and they were going through over here. So that's what was just going on right now.
Well,
So
if the temperature goes below 65 degrees, bees get wacky.
is that right?
Yeah, they'll
Oh,
actually they can't survive temperatures under 65 degrees, between
is that
60 and
right?
65. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
that's why they get a little wacky.
That's probably why, because it was like 65. The temperature dropped with the wind, and when it's windy, it's colder. Even the wind, it could be 70, but when the wind is going and they're stuck in a whirlwind, it's colder in that whirlwind. So that's probably why they were like, they were like banging into the walls, and yeah. So, but that's what we do at ADA Advocates. We raise money. So if you can and you go there, just donate. Donate what you can, or say that you need. And if you're on Long Island and you need help or you need some guidance, we guide, train you, teach you how to fight for yourself. On big cases, we refer certain lawyers that things that turn into federal litigation. Um, we help find that. Sometimes I'll go in and advocate for you. That's not all the time. Not everyone requires that, me. And we only advocate, we want to make this clear. Every situation is brand new. Some folks think when we help them that we're their advocate for the rest of their life. It doesn't work that way. We all have lives. We try and get you over the hurdle. And the whole purpose is to teach you how to maintain the independent promise of the constitutional right of the ADA, the protection you have with it. That's the main goal here. The greatest thing would having not have a need for me. Others capitalized. There were a lot of fake agencies. We had people doing out here, and I stopped a lot of them. You had Binder and Binder calling themselves the Social Security disability advocates. No, I'm the first ADA advocate in the country. I'm the first one. There was no ADA in '83. Just so everybody knows that I created it. It's my name. It belongs to me. And I made it with a plan and a purpose, not for fame or notoriety, to stop the abuse and neglect of people with disabilities. That's why I made it. That's why I copywrote it. That's why I put it into practice. That's why we have advocates, because it's about our right. It's not about how much I can make of starting something that was great. It was about doing something great for those that needed the help. And that's what we are proud of at ADA. That's what these presidents. I have the ADA award from Bush. I got even Clinton. As you can see, in Obama. But Obama, he really didn't do anything for the disabled. He sent me a friend letter. I took it off the wall. Okay, I'm not his friend. He works for me, and he waited till the end of his term to send it with a picture, personally signed. Okay, he waited. When I was trying to communicate with that White House, I had no access. I had no access to and I had it to I had it with Clinton's White House. Clinton just didn't do much for the ADA, but sent me a beautiful letter in response to mine, because I got it from the president-elect, because I sent it right after Daddy Bush, and to let them know, look, just be like your predecessor and support the organization. It's not a political group. It's a group of American citizens that have rights. And we're hoping you enforce those rights, because it was enacted by GW. And he came in '93. Now uphold those, and I'm going to count on you. So he sent a great letter, but the only ones that actually helped was Bush, and Trump. The other presidents did not support disabled Americans. They did not. I want everybody to know that. I pride myself on going to, and let me tell you, a lot of congressmen didn't do it. That's why I ran for Congress. And let me tell you, let me tell you, Ted Kennedy helped me. He helped me. He knew I was a Republican. Chuck Schumer did not help me. You understand? He's a partisan guy. He doesn't do bipartisan. He's a liar. He did that. He didn't help me. He seen that I was, and he wasn't helping me. We referred him a citizen, and he didn't help that person. So we don't tolerate that. So should I share that here? Absolutely. You're supposed to know. That's what this is about. We're the Wind Talkers. Johnny Fratangelo, Darren Aquino. Johnny Pizza, Darren Cricket. That's my little nickname, the Cricket. Like Jiminy Cricket, the little voice in the ear. So that's what we're doing here. We're bringing you news. We're bringing it real. We're bringing it right. Next week, Dr. Mike will be with us. You'll get to hear amazing stories. It's going to be just great. And Johnny's going to tell us some more stories before we sign off because we didn't get a call out or a sign off yet because I guess because of the time we lost, they want to just try and make it up. I mean, we had some very technical difficulties that led to Dr. Mike. He blocked the time. He's, like I said, a renowned doctor and surgeon and all around health professional that you're going to get to meet. And there it is. That's Dr. Mike. And I'm in this magazine as well. This is going to be an incredible, and you want to see this. You want to see this because me and Mike are in this. This is our promo copy. This is the promo copy. This is us. Remember this here. See? Look at that. Everybody. So we want to see this magazine and the wonderful story and the commentary here is beautiful. This is the promo of what it looks like. The finished one. And then even this is here. This is wonderful as well. You want to see this as well. We're in here as well. Advocates for Disabled is in there, as you can see, to remind people for the holidays. ADA. It's about a hand up, not a handout. And we're very proud about that. That's why so many people. Sunrise Magazine is part of the group. We have a special commentary in there. And then, of course, we have our favorite book. Johnny Pizza is our favorite person here. He's the co-host of Wind Talkers, Code Wind Talkers, put on by Triple Vibes. We use their airwaves. And, we love DJ Sean Black and Carl Van Nivius III, who's an associate partner to me. And we're doing great things. We're talking about our veterans. We're sharing veteran stories. We're bringing truth and knowledge to the American people through Code Wind Talkers, where we're bringing you the truth. And there's nothing in between. There is no maybe. This is not fake news, but the news. The news on what's going on in an individual's life. We're not taking content from a story and broadcasting it. We're bringing the story to you and the storyteller, the way it should be done. That's what we do here at Code Wind Talkers. We bring it right. We bring it real. I'm Darren Aquino. This is Johnny Fratangelo. Johnny, tell us a little bit more. Give us another story before we check out, and then we'll give all the call signs where people can get us. And this show, I apologize that we had some challenging issues here that got rid of our guest, but he's coming back next week. Surgery had to come because the time frame with emergencies that went on that interfered. But, and then our sponsors that, we're going to talk with Coca-Cola and people that want to come on because it's such an interesting show and we have interesting people. And then listen, this show is going to bring other people. We're going to bring on lawyers because the area that we're talking about is everyday life. And in everyday life after COVID as well, it's not going to be the everyday that you're used to. We got a whole new everyday outlook that we have to look forward to. It's not the America of yesterday, it's the America today post-COVID. And there are some challenges. You're looking at one now. I'm here, he's there, and technical difficulties kept us from broadcasting. Other broadcasting companies are still broadcasting on TV, but the performers and whatever are having challenges because my friend Gaba, who's putting on this production, it's a new movie. I have a major role in it. And it's going to start after COVID because casting and production in New York and in Philadelphia are putting some guidelines. So you can't have a half a crew to film a full-length feature film. You just can't do it. So we have to wait till that passes. So up after January, I'll be going up to Philadelphia to shoot a few scenes of this movie. And I think Johnny might be coming too. So, what I want to hope to do is, John, maybe we can do a couple of shows on the road, I think. Like maybe we can do a live broadcast during my campaign. Some folks that were doing podcasts, We're doing it in like a restaurant. We have friends down here at beautiful Italian restaurants, Molto, La Pescaria. These are friends of mine. We can go and broadcast live from an Italian restaurant, and we can actually have some pizza and espresso. We can actually eat while we're broadcasting. We can give some notoriety to the restaurant, some of my favorite places. I don't like to expose them because then I won't have a table. And I actually have a table at this place over here in Naples, Florida, that it's my table. That's where I sit. I don't sit anyplace else. When I go in a table, if I call, they hold that table for me. So I'd like to do that. I'd like to see us do that. What do you think about that? Taking it and we do a live broadcast. And that's the other thing where we can take the book. I don't know what you got in supply there. I know that the sales have been going up. We want to thank everybody. Keep going to get this book. You're helping veterans. You're doing that. And that's what we should do, because we've seen bad leadership neglect our veterans. It's up to us to take care of our veterans. We're in this together. And that means us, not them. Not the people that work on the Hill. They work for us. We have to keep it right and keep it real. We have to remember that we're in charge, not fight each other, get rid of our problems. And we have to do that and solve that together. And we can, because we are a strong, powerful nation of good people who try and help everybody. Like Johnny was saying, we're feeding other people in other countries, but we're leaving 14 million kids hungry here. And during this COVID, this Chinese killer virus that came into this country, it hurt families. It took lives. It took lives of friends that we know. And it's tragic. And you had bad leadership that just killed more by putting them in nursing homes when that was just insanity. We don't do that. That's bad leadership. That's just not what you do. As an advocate, I fought him on that and said, don't do it. I said to do other things. I sent a message to the governor. That's what the advocate does. I fight for the people. And we sent him a letter, and I faxed it to him because I know Andrew, and I don't like what he didn't do. He killed vulnerable folks by subjecting already disabled, by now newly disabled with the disease, and put them in a vulnerable place. That was not common sense. That appears to be intentional. Take it for what it is. You don't, listen, that's like mixing apples and oranges and saying you only got apple juice. That's not going to happen, okay? And we can't allow that and can't accept that. And that's why we got some issues. But going forward, we can do that. So that's why we support these books. We come out and we do this. And Johnny's going to come out. We're going to get some books signed. And those of you who want that signature and want to meet John and want to hear his story, you may be a veteran. You may be there. One of the guys left from that has Agent Orange. There's a few folks left. And I knew some folks that in my time, two people from that are my sister's age. She's like 70, that went to Vietnam, and she's 70 now. And they got Agent Orange, and that was not good. So it was very challenging. And imagine, they were younger, like 30, maybe even younger than that. They died a couple of years after they got out. So, he got out maybe 22. He's a paratrooper, Michael Zoni. Grew up watching him, so I think he maybe died 10 years after he got out. So maybe 30, 31. That's tragic, from whatever it was that you were using down there to kill this, the jungle. Didn't work so good, but it did kill our soldiers. And, these are things that are untold and things, and we're going to address all of this here on Code Wind Talkers with Darren Wind Talker and Johnny Pizza Wind Talker. We are the Wind Talkers. Then we're going to bring on Wind Talker guests. And we got some great guests coming up, and we're going to have a lawyer come out and answer questions. And we're going to try and get this set up. And if we go live, like I'm telling Johnny, we go live and we go to a live location, you'll get to sit and talk with him and ask him questions and, maybe share a story. There are no age requirements here because you got folks that are young today serving that may want to know about some of the history of war. Johnny will be there to answer. And, we look forward to that. We're trying to set something in the coming months, perhaps where he could leave New York and we'll do maybe our first live location show because he has to come and make me waffles. Those of you who watch the other show, you know that Johnny owes me waffles, and I'm going to get my waffles. I'm going to get waffles. So, Johnny, tell us another story, and then let's see what's going on, because I don't, I didn't get a message in. So, go ahead. Tell us something else. Tell us another interesting story you had that you wanted to tell. I remember.
Well, I want to reach out to all the veterans out there, whatever war you were in, to reach out to us on the lastgoodbye-book.com, and because we'd like to hear your stories. I want to show you something here that's in my book, and it's just give me a second. It's pictures of my close friends that were lost in Vietnam. And I tell some of their stories, but most of them never got to tell their stories. And this fella right here, Antonio Ribeiro, who was from New Mexico, who was a conscientious objector, right? And he was a medic, never carried a weapon. But he came to Vietnam. He actually went to court to go to Vietnam. And he won the fight, and he was drafted, and he volunteered. Volunteered. He came in, and one of his sole purposes of the war was to write a book. And he was taking pictures like crazy, and he was helping. They walked into a mess one day. Bravo Company, 1st Infantry Division, on July 18th, 1967. Well, he was killed trying to help wounded veterans. So his book never got to come out. And so that's why I want you guys out there to reach out to us so you can come on the show and tell your stories, because most of them, all of them actually, never got to tell their story. And so you still have a chance to do it. And I really love to talk with you and have you tell your story and let everybody hear about it, okay? Which they never got to do. All right? So remember that. It's important, believe me, that you do it. And
so
especially
true. How did you get those pictures? I see it on you, because maybe, if I would have known that, I would have suggested for Veterans Day that we would have put up their pictures.
What you do, like this here's my cousin. This is a good friend of mine. I grew up in the Bronx, and there's a couple others I grew up with. But what you do is you go on the virtual wall, okay? And that tells you everybody who was killed in the Vietnam War. And you go on there. It's if you want to go on alphabetical, go on alphabetical. You push in the name. If you know somebody who was killed, or if you want to find out anyone, just push in the name. Like I said, it's alphabetical order, and it'll come up with their information. And most of them have a picture. Some of them don't, but most of them have a picture. So I got my pictures from either my yearbook from the basic training or from the virtual wall.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I wish I would have thought of that. I would have, it's one of my jobs, folks, to set the stage for us so that we have good commentary, so we can have Q&A. You could also write in and ask questions if you want to send a list for next week's show that you want us to answer. Listen, feel free to reach out. Johnny gave you the address. Feel free. Listen, we're just two other regular Americans, just maybe on another side. We're in another state than you are. But your voice can generate from here. Your question can be heard from here. And we will take that question and we will broadcast that question because it matters. So whatever you got that matters and nobody's listening, we're listening and we're telling. We're code talkers, code wind talkers. We're sharing the story. We're bringing it truth. We're bringing it real. We're bringing it right. I'm Darren, and this is Johnny. Everybody calls him Johnny Pizza. So if you got that story and you want to share it, we want to hear it, and we want to share it for you. We want to be the go-between that brings it to you and the public, because I'm sure it's an amazing story, one that needs to be told. Remember, Johnny told this story so that you would know the horrors of war and how it impacted him and his family. Imagine 19 years old, dead, gone, being buried, being brought home in a box, serving a war that still till today we don't understand why we were there, okay? And how did that benefit us? It didn't. It just made us enemies. It's just made people hate the men and women that were doing their job, going at the call of the president. So, we're going to get people from that time that are going to be on the show. We're going to have folks, and then we are preparing and getting ready to prepare a trailer, a 16-minute trailer of what I'd like to see. We've been talking about it, storyboarding, you know, as a creative executive producer on this. One of the first things I wanted, that's why we got Dave Hollenbach, whole book. And, as an actor myself,
David Kaltenbach.
David Kaltenbach, yeah, Kaltenbach, he said, Kaltenbach, Kaltenbolt, he said too, it meant. He gave us a couple of versions of his name, but I think that's because he's got wanted pictures on the wall, so he was given two different versions. But no, David shot the video, and that's also on codemag.com, codemediagroup.com. I think it's there. Carl was telling us, our other executive producer was just telling us that finally he put the video that we did where you get to see and hear the real live stories of his comrades that he was there with. And you'll hear about the gun battles. And keep in mind, folks, we're talking 19 years old. 19, below the age of 21. Below the legal age of 21. They sent them off to fight a war. They came home as men, and some of them weren't treated honorably. And we're going to hope to make that right, where, today it's almost there, but these men still do not get the respect that they deserve. And that's what I do as an advocate. And, that's why you got to get this book. You got to get this book, The Last Goodbye. Johnny told you where it is. It's thelastgoodbye.book.com. Yes. And you will get that book, and you will read this story, and you will see the honorable men and the many who died that were friends of his, and the stories. And so we're going to get some more stories from you folks, and we're going to share those stories with all of you, the viewers, and, share this on your Facebook page. Take this show and bring it. If you are a veteran, then, we're going to hashtag this. I'm going to put it on my Facebook and hashtag it, veterans, disabled veterans. Okay. Windtalkers.com. You got to bring the message. We're responsible, each and every one of us, for bringing the good news. If we were in biblical days, they called the disciples the guys who would bring the good news. What is the good news? That we can get through this COVID time. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. We're going to solve our issues. We're going to have people on. We're going to have good people on. We're going to have lawyers. We're going to have doctors. We're going to have elected officials, and they're going to officially answer our questions. If they don't, we're going to wet their seats. We're going to put electrodes under them, electrodes, and make the seat wet. One of the hosts will come out, and we'll go live and drop a little water on them, and we'll charge up the seat if they don't give us the right answer. So, we're not going to take anything. We're here. We're here to bring it real and bring it right. And that's what we'd like to do. Johnny, what else do you want to tell us?
I just want to tell you that, like I said about telling the stories, I just lost 4 of my Vietnam recon buddies through Agent Orange. We just got together after 45 years. I lost 4 of them already in the last 2 years. So anybody out there who's suffering with Agent Orange, I know it's sad to say that, all our days are numbered, but tell your story before something happens. Very important.
Okay, we got 8 minutes left. Okay. And okay, Johnny, what else do you want to tell us?
Well,
do you have anything else you want to sell and bring it on air?
Well, I could tell you, I could just finish up that story with the Mountain Odds that time I was telling you about before. About the Mountain Odds with Papa San with the Coca-Cola and the
oh yeah, let's talk about okay. Papa San.
But anyway, after we left our detail there, we were on the gun jeep and we left the village.
Tell everybody where you were again, but for the new people that came in, tell them where you were. And
No,
this was the mission, and, you know.
Yeah, this was in Vietnam, and we were guarding a mountain art village, which are local natives. And anyway, Tan, who I befriended, this little boy, was about 9 to 10 years old, and we left the village, the mountain art village, and we were on the road with our gun jeeps, and I'm standing up behind a machine gun, like Rat Patrol years ago on TV. Okay.
Oh God, yeah.
All right. Except we used the M60 machine gun instead of the 50 cal. But anyway, we pulled off the road, and there was this rubber trees plantations. Now the rubber trees were anywhere from 12 to 15 feet apart, straight line, right? So we pulled off the road just to take a break because we had some Coca-Cola and beers in the Jeep. And when we pulled off the road, in between two rubber trees was a big spider web, okay? And I look up, and there was a spider, like I said, with another bug, with like 18 inches, huge, all right? It was streamlined, okay? It was yellow and black. Right? And Tan, the little boy, comes running up because we stopped right by the edge of the plantation with the web right there. And I was going to shoot it, you know, but I said, nah, I'll just leave it alone. It's not bothering me. But the kid came up, little Tan, and he pointed to the spider, and he pinched his hand, and then he went like this, like he's telling me, if that thing bites you, you're gone. You know? So it was unbelievable. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we deal with over in Vietnam. It's unbelievable. But I just wanted to finish that little tale that I was starting to tell you about. I can't hear you.
How big was that spider?
Oh, like I said, it's about 18 inches. Oh yeah, easy like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's huge.
Oh yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Oh man, it's like the ones they tell in the stories, right? They just
yeah.
There were spiders that big that really exist, huh?
Oh yeah, I told one of the first stories with that when I first got over to Vietnam, with that looked like a cross between a cockroach and a beetle, you know, tentacles like this long. I don't know if you could see my arm, but that long, right? And they chopped it in half with a machete.
Really?
So, yeah, it was
happened?
Unbelievable.
What happened?
No, it was just there on the ground. I was watching the Mama Sons do KP when I first got over to Vietnam, and they just went about like like I said in the video, they just swatted a fly. That was nothing, you know.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I can tell you.
It's really bad over there in the jungles, right? You had some serious issues in the jungles there.
Oh yeah. Sure. Between the bugs and the weather conditions, and then the fighting, yeah, sure.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, even when I think about
the booby traps, you know, all this stuff.
Yeah, they had those, right? They had these things that would come out like spears, right?
They had all kinds of stuff. They
had homemade ones, right?
Yeah.
Did you and your platoon ever make any like booby traps? Did you have any skills in making?
Most of the time we just set out our claymores because we were recon, so we were constantly moving, you know.
So we put those little mines.
We've come across landmines, and we've come across booby traps. Yeah, we actually used to sweep the roads when we were on the road with them, because like I said, we were recon. We used to sweep the road for landmines. You know.
How do you do that? How do you sweep the road?
Well, you got this mechanism. You know, it's a long flat plate, and you connect headphones to it, and you listen to the.
Oh, the metal in the ground, like a
metal detector, exactly.
Oh. But I thought it was more sophisticated.
But there's a certain way you have to do it, because you have a prober with you who has a knife. Okay, so if you come across a mine, you stop and you give word to everybody to stop, and then the prober goes down with his knife on a 45-degree angle, very easy, right, till he feels the metal. Okay, then you very easily wipe the dirt off of it. Okay, and then you clear it around. Tell everybody to clear, and you set the C4 with the hand detonated, right? And you go back and tell everybody to take cover. You tell them what you're going to do.
You explode them.
You blow them up, yeah. But I'll tell you what, we did this once, and we kept on going, on patrol, right? To Falmore, we did the same thing. But later on the way back, they had a mine in the same spot we just blew.
Really?
Okay? Yeah. So you can never be too careful over there.
Wow. Well, we're getting clarity. We got about 3 minutes left. We're going off the air at 4:30. So we'd like to thank some of our folks. Johnny, why don't you say thank all of our people related to this show, give them all the call letters and how they can find and reach us, because that's going to take about 2 minutes, all of left. And we want to thank everybody. Again, I'm Darren, Wind Talker, and this is Johnny Pizza. And Johnny Pizza is going to wrap us up for today.
Yeah,
And we'd love to see you next time.
yeah. I'd like to thank Carl Daniels III and Carl and David Calderback for making the documentary for my book. And we'd like to thank Sean Samuels for setting us all up with his Triple Vibe studio. And we'd like to mention about the CV19mag.com and code New York CMAG.com and the last goodbye book.com to see us all on the
Yeah, there's great stuff there. Uh, because we got another minute, so John ran out of words. So, so I'm going to give you some
Unless
more.
I got something to say, I don't talk too much.
He's not a big talker, so that's why I'm the out of wind talker.
Yep.
So yeah, so we're gonna do some amazing things, and we want to thank everybody, and we want you to tune in. This is gonna be a good show. Join us next time on Wind Talkers. Meet Dr. Mike and ask your questions. Thank you all so much. Goodbye.